If a 7-year-old pointed to a bruise and whispered, "She hurts me," but the adult in the room smiled and said, "She's lying," whose voice would you believe? The crying had a rhythm, a rise and fall that made the air feel thinner. It came from behind a closed door at the top of the stairs, down a hallway that smelled like expensive flowers and lemon polish. Paloma paused in the back entrance, one hand still on the doorknob, listening. A sharp voice cut through the sobs, smooth, practiced, merciless. "Stop the tantrum. Your father will be home and see what kind of girl you are." A door slammed hard enough to rattle the frames on the wall. Paloma exhaled, set down her bag, and glanced at Carmen, the housekeeper who had let her in. Carmen's eyes said more than her words. "You're starting on a difficult day, querida. The señora is nervous again." "What señora?" Paloma asked, though she already knew there was only one woman here who commanded voices like that. "Doña Veronica, the stepmother," Carmen said, lowering her voice. "And the crying is the girl, Camila." "Where's the father?" Paloma asked. "Traveling, always traveling." Carmen shook her head and added, very quietly, "You should know. This job won't be easy." Paloma wasn't the sort of person who needed easy. She needed purpose. And right now, purpose sounded like a little girl crying alone behind a locked door. She took the stairs two at a time, following the sound like a lighthouse follows fog. A hallway, a pale blue door. Paloma lifted her hand to knock, and the door across the hall flew open. A blonde woman stepped out with a perfect sweep of hair and the kind of smile you put on for strangers. "You must be the new help." Paloma nodded. "Good morning." "Wonderful. I need to go out," the woman said briskly. "The child is throwing a fit. She'll stop. Then you can begin. She's fine. Always dramatic." The woman Veronica walked away without looking back, heels crisp against the floor, purse in hand, face serene as if crying were a weather report someone else had to deal with. The crying did not stop. Paloma knocked softly. "Hola, chiquita. Can I come in?" The crying hitched, then quieted enough for a small voice to answer. "Who is it?" "I'm Paloma. I won't scold you, I promise." She turned the handle slowly and stepped into a room that was too big and too empty for a child, all neat shelves and scattered toys, and a girl curled on the floor around her own thin legs like someone trying to fit her whole life into the smallest possible space. The girl's eyes were swollen. Tears had dried in blotches, new ones threatening. "What's your name?" Paloma asked gently. "Camila," the girl said, watching like a stray cat deciding if a hand was safe. "Camila," Paloma repeated, tasting the name like something sweet. "That's beautiful. Why were you crying, Corazon?" Camila rubbed her belly and whispered, "It hurts." "Do you feel sick, or is it hunger?" Paloma asked. "Hunger," Camila admitted, almost ashamed. "What time did you eat?" Paloma glanced at the clock on the dresser. Just past 1 in the afternoon. Camila looked down. "I didn't." Paloma's face softened. "You didn't have breakfast?" Camila shook her head. "Then let's fix that," Paloma said, holding out her hand. The little girl hesitated. Then she placed her small fingers into Paloma's palm and got to her feet. Together they went downstairs to the kitchen. Paloma opened the fridge and cabinets, taking inventory. "How does a sandwich and some juice sound?" "I like," Camila said, eyes flicking from Paloma's hands to the door, listening for danger. Paloma made the sandwich and kept her voice light. "Tell me, how many slices did I cut?" She showed the sandwich as if it were a magic trick. "2," Camila said quickly, a flicker of pride breaking through. "You're very smart," Paloma said, and Camilla's face shifted, the flinch of someone not used to praise. She ate with fierce focus, like food was a privilege that could be taken away. "Paloma, good," Camila said between bites. "You are good." "And you're very special," Paloma said truthfully. "Veronica," Camila added, "she is bad." "There are sentences that split something in you," Paloma swallowed. "Veronica is wrong about you, mi amor. You are a wonderful girl. You are not bad. And you are safe with me." Camilla studied her face for a long second, like a lie detector that had learned to survive. She nodded slightly as if granting Paloma a trial period. After eating, Camilla wanted to show Paloma her toys. The room looked unused by adult hands. No order, no system. Paloma sat with her on the floor and asked her about the colors. Blue, red, yellow, Camilla said, delighted to show what she knew. Then pink, green, purple, and her smile lit from inside. The capacity was there. It hadn't been fed. They were giggling over a picture book when the front door opened and closed. Footsteps clattered up. Camilla's small back went rigid, her body unlearning how to breathe. The doorway filled with the blonde woman's silhouette. Veronica took in the scene child, smile, toys, new maid, and her face rearranged itself. Camilla, did you eat? She asked. The girl nodded, shoulders rising. Who gave you permission? Veronica's gaze didn't leave Camilla's face. I saw she was hungry, so I made her a sandwich, Paloma said. Ask next time, Veronica said, a smile pasted on. Camilla has a schedule. If she eats off schedule, she won't want dinner. She walked closer, gentle voice tightening. Right, sweetheart. You know you need to wait for dinner. Camilla looked from Veronica to Paloma, confused by the contradiction. Now stay very still while the lady works, Veronica added, letting the word lady land like a weight. She left, and the air eased. Camilla crept to Paloma and whispered, She hurt. Paloma's blood heated. How, mi amor? Footsteps again. Camilla went silent and pretended to play. Veronica returned and looked at the toys. Look at this mess. Put it away, faster. Your father does not like disorder, Veronica said. Camilla scrambled, hands shaking, blocks clattering. One fell and rolled. So clumsy, Veronica snapped. She grabbed Camilla's arm, her nails biting in too hard. Stop being slow. Camilla's eyes filled, but her body didn't dare cry out loud. And stop crying, Veronica added. Your father hates crybabies. Paloma clenched her jaw so hard it hurt. If she threw herself between them now, she'd be fired, and Camilla would be trapped. She memorized everything. She would find another way. When Veronica left, Camilla showed Paloma the red mark on her arm. It hurts. Come here, Paloma whispered. She held the girl gently, careful of the bruise and of the fragile trust. If someone hurts you, you can tell me. Veronica say I can't, Camilla's eyes worried. She say Papi will give me away. The threat made something deep in Paloma burn cold. Your father will never, ever give you away, she said. He loves you. Does he love me? Camilla asked, so honest, so small. Paloma's voice broke. Yes, you are his daughter. Camilla searched Paloma's face. Then she reached for paper and crayons. She drew two figures, a tall one with yellow hair and a tiny one on the floor crying. Is that you? Paloma asked, pointing to the small figure. Camilla nodded. She pointed to the tall one. Veronica. She does this when your father's not home? Camilla nodded again. Paloma slid the drawing into her bag when Camilla wasn't looking. Sometimes truth needs proof. Later, as Paloma left for the day, she heard Veronica on the phone in the living room, her voice honey-sweet. Everything perfect, Amor. Camilla ate well, played, so precious. And the new maid is fine. Camilla likes her. Pause. Of course I care for our princess. Beso. Paloma walked out with a heart that felt too heavy. There was danger in this house, and for now Paloma was the only one who saw it. The second morning, Camilla sat on the stairs in pajamas, hair messy, face blank. Why aren't you dressed? Paloma asked softly. Veronica didn't help, Camilla said. Where is she? On the phone. In the garden, Veronica spoke with a voice polished for sympathy. Alejandro, she slept perfectly. Breakfast check. She's playing. You can be calm at work. Paloma glanced at the clock. It was after 10. Camilla had not eaten. Then Veronica said something that made Paloma stop stirring the eggs. I can't stand this anymore, Mama. Every time I look at her, I remember he had a child with another woman. A pause. It's not just that. After I lost my baby and she's there alive, in the place that should have been for my child, Paloma looked down at Camilla, tugging her sleeve. Eggs ready? Almost, Paloma said, forcing her voice steady. Veronica laughed lightly into the phone. And with this new maid, the girl is getting smarter. Alejandro will realize I don't do a good job. Maybe it's better if she goes to a special school, a boarding one. Then Alejandro and I can have our own family. Paloma's stomach turned. She slid eggs onto a plate, set it in front of Camilla, and kept listening. I won't say that to him now, Veronica continued, but if I can show that she's too difficult, he'll have to consider it. The call ended. Veronica stepped into the kitchen and saw Camilla eating. She couldn't wait. She has to learn to keep the schedule. If she eats now, she won't eat later. She was hungry, Paloma said. Hunger is not an excuse to disobey, Veronica replied. She kissed the top of Camilla's head without actually touching her. Finish and go to your room. I need to talk to Paloma. Camilla ate fast and left. Veronica's smile fell. Listen, you seem like a good person, but let me be clear. Camilla is a special child. She needs routine, boundaries. If you keep spoiling her, you will hinder her development. You're here to clean. Decisions about Camilla are mine and Alejandro's. Paloma nodded, not because she agreed, but because she needed to stay. Later, Paloma found Camilla sobbing in the bathroom, holding her arm under cold water. What happened? Tripped, Veronica said from the doorway, eyes blank. Camilla whispered, she pushed me. Don't invent stories, Veronica snapped. That's a habit she has. She lies when she does something wrong. Paloma got through the day by breathing in and out and telling Camilla the things she needed most to hear. You are brave. You are smart. You are loved. At lunch, Veronica gave Camilla a small portion and said it was enough because she had eaten eggs in the morning. In the afternoon, she tore up Camilla's drawing. Your father hates scribbles, she said. Camilla watched her art turn to trash and pressed her lips together like it was a lesson. When Alejandro finally got home, everything in the house changed speed. Veronica switched masks smoothly. She glided to him and kissed his cheek. How was your day? Camilla was wonderful, played, drew, ate so well. Camilla was upstairs pretending to sleep so she wouldn't cause trouble. Paloma wiped the counter and listened while Veronica planted little seeds. Alejandro, I worry Camilla is getting too dependent on the maid. She's already been through so much. If she attaches and the maid leaves... We'll be attentive, Alejandro said absently, kissing Veronica's forehead and going upstairs to glance at Camilla. He whispered goodnight to a little girl holding her breath under the covers. The next morning, the door to Camilla's room was locked from the outside. Paloma found the key on the hallway console, opened the door, and caught Camilla as she ran into her arms. Why were you locked in? I asked why Papi doesn't talk to me, Camilla whispered. Veronica got angry. Later that morning, Alejandro came home, explaining he had forgotten some documents. Camilla ran to him, a tiny bolt of love in pajamas. He stiffened a second, then hugged her back. Hi, princess. Was locked, she blurted. Locked where? He asked. Veronica appeared on the stairs. She threw a tantrum, Veronica said calmly. I put her in her room to calm down. No tantrum, Camilla said. I asked why he doesn't talk to me. Alejandro stared at his daughter, then at his wife. Of course I talk to you. When? Camilla asked. He had no answer anyone wanted to hear. Tonight, he said. We'll talk. I promise. Camilla glowed all day. Papi will talk to me, she told Paloma over and over, like a prayer. That night, Veronica had a new story. She feels sick, she told Alejandro. She had a hard day. She's asleep already. Camilla lay in the dark with open eyes, quiet as a leaf. She had learned how to look asleep. I know what you're asking yourself, Paloma said to her the next day, when the sadness turned even quieter. Why did Papi forget? Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. But he loves you. He really does. Veronica says she suffers, Camilla said, confusion bending her voice. And because she suffers, she is like that. Sometimes pain makes people do harmful things, Paloma said gently, but it doesn't make those things okay. In the days that followed, Paloma did what she could with the hours she had. She taught Camilla to count to 20, colors in English, how to tie her shoes, days of the week. She turned chores into games, red cars in one box, blue cars in another, and Camilla lit up. She was quick. She was eager. She blossomed the way children do when someone waters them without an agenda. Alejandro began to notice. One afternoon he found Camilla counting proudly. "Where did you learn that?" he asked. "Paloma," Camilla said, pointing like she had found a treasure. Alejandro glanced at Paloma, surprised. "She's very smart," Paloma said, not looking for credit. "She just needs someone to expect more than the bare minimum." Veronica heard it. She didn't like it. That night, Alejandro and Veronica argued behind a closed door, but Paloma could hear the shape of the words. "I don't like Camilla becoming dependent on the maid," Veronica said. "She's learning," Alejandro replied. "And when the maid leaves, think about Camilla's feelings. Think about what will happen when she loses another person. Or maybe she finally has what she needed," Alejandro said softly. "Someone who believes in her." "Are you saying I don't?" "I'm saying she seems happy." "You think I don't want her happiness?" Paloma went home with worry lodged under her ribs. She saw what was happening. Veronica was planting doubts in Alejandro's head while trying to uproot Camilla's growing confidence. The stage was being set for something worse. The first strike came on a morning when Alejandro was out and Paloma arrived to find Camilla's door locked again. "Water," Camilla said when she was freed, cheeks blotchy. "I asked for water." Alejandro returned mid-morning for a folder, and Camilla ran to him, hopeful. He hugged her and she melted. "I was locked," she said. Veronica slid in. "Tantrum." "No," Camilla said. "I asked why he doesn't talk to me." Alejandro swallowed hard. He had promised. He had broken it. He had a choice now. Double down on convenience or choose the harder road that meant listening. He chose to sit on the floor with his daughter that afternoon. "Show me what you learned," he said. She did. She wrote her name. The letters were wobbly, brave. "Who taught you?" he asked. "Paloma," Camilla said. Alejandro turned to the doorway where Paloma stood half-hidden. "She's remarkable," he said to no one and everyone. "Camilla is remarkable," Paloma answered, correcting the compliment's direction. Veronica watched from the kitchen. Later, she told Alejandro he was encouraging noise by playing with the child. "She's loud," Veronica said. "She gesticulates." "She's happy," Alejandro replied. "It's not normal," Veronica insisted. "Children like her need calm, routine." "She needs love and attention," Alejandro said, surprised by the conviction in his own voice. "You think I don't give that?" He hesitated. He thought of the last time he had seen Veronica hug Camilla spontaneously. He couldn't remember. The next day, Veronica's plans sharpened. She told Camilla in the morning, "You made your father tired yesterday. He was just being polite." Camilla's face fell. "He said he liked." "He said it so he wouldn't hurt your feelings. But afterwards he told me the truth. He likes quiet children, educated children, not noisy ones. If you want him to play with you, be quiet. Don't talk. Don't make a sound." It was a cruelty fine-tuned for maximum damage. Show love one day, starve it the next. Camilla obeyed. She sat in her room all morning. Paloma asked to see her. "She needs discipline," Veronica said. "No visitors." At lunch, Camilla came down with red eyes and no tears. Paloma whispered, "Hola, mi amor," and Camilla answered like a robot. "Hello." Alejandro came home early, excited to play again, and found his daughter sitting on her bed, staring out the window. "Hello, senor," she said. "Senor?" He sat beside her. "I am your father," Veronica said, more polite. "What do you want to do today?" he asked. "What you want," Camilla said. "I want what you want," he insisted. Silence. Then in a whisper, "I was bad yesterday." "Who told you that?" "Veronica." Jealousy is loud in some people and subtle in others. In Veronica, it shifted like light through blinds pleading to Alejandro, punishing to Camilla. Alejandro's stomach soured. He wanted the truth. He just didn't know how warped it had become inside his house. The final straw, the one that would force everything into the open, was a bracelet. "Let's see if she's honest," Veronica told Camilla after Alejandro left the next morning. She slid a gold bracelet off her wrist, gleaming in the kitchen light. "I'll put this in a special place. If Paloma takes it, we'll know she steals." "She doesn't steal," Camilla said, voice small and fierce. "We'll see," Veronica said. "But it's our secret. If you tell, Paloma will run away before we can prove she's bad." Camilla stood by the pantry, confused and afraid, as Veronica shoved the bracelet into a cleaning cloth Paloma used every day. When Paloma came to clean the kitchen, she reached into the drawer, pulled out the cloth, and the bracelet clattered to the tile. "How strange," Paloma said, surprised, bending to pick it up. "Camilla, come here," Veronica called, voice ringing with manufactured shock. "Caught at last. Paloma, what are you doing with my bracelet?" "It fell from this cloth," Paloma said. "I don't know how it got there." "How would my bracelet end up in a cleaning cloth?" Veronica asked, eyes narrowing theatrically. "Camilla, did you see Paloma with my bracelet?" Camilla looked from the bracelet to Paloma's face. She remembered she was supposed to keep the secret. "I saw Paloma with bracelet," she said, hating the words as they left. "She stole it," Veronica declared. "Take your things and get out of my house." "Please," Paloma said, voice shaking. "Listen to me." "Thieves don't get explanations," Veronica cut in. "Leave, now." Paloma met Camilla's eyes. "You know me," she whispered. "You know I would never." Camilla felt something tearing. She wanted to scream the truth, but fear is a very old teacher. "I don't know," she said, and hated herself. Paloma picked up her bag, walked to the door, and turned one last time. "I'll miss you very much, Carita." Camilla began to cry then, loud, unhidden. Veronica snapped, "Stop! You should be happy. We got rid of a thief." "I didn't want her to go," Camilla sobbed. When Alejandro came home that evening, Veronica met him with the calm of someone rehearsed. "I fired Paloma today." "Why?" Alejandro asked, already uneasy. "I caught her stealing my bracelet." "How?" "Camila saw her with it." Alejandro turned to his daughter. "Princess, what did you see?" Camilla stared at the floor. "I saw Paloma with bracelet." "Where?" "In the kitchen." "Did you see her take it from somewhere?" Camilla's throat tightened. She remembered the word secret. "I don't know," she whispered. "It fell from cloth." Alejandro frowned. "The bracelet was in a cleaning cloth?" "Yes," Camilla admitted. "She put it there," Veronica said immediately. "I didn't have to see her. The evidence was enough." "If she hid it," Alejandro countered, "why would she let it fall in front of you?" "Because I caught her by surprise?" He looked back at Camilla. "Did Paloma look like someone who was stealing?" "No," Camilla said without hesitation. "She looked scared, as if she didn't understand." Alejandro inhaled slowly. "Where is Paloma now?" "Gone," Veronica said. "Good riddance." "I'm going to find her." "To do what?" Veronica asked. "To bring her back? Do you not believe me?" "I want to hear her side before I accuse her of a crime." "If you bring that thief back, I'll leave," Veronica snapped. "Why are you so afraid of me speaking to her?" Alejandro asked, voice hardening. "I am not afraid. I do not allow thieves in my house." "If she really stole, what's the harm in hearing her? The problem seems to be that I'm questioning you." "The problem is you doubting my word," Veronica said, too quickly, too tight. Alejandro's eyes were sharp. "I'm going to find her," he said, reaching for his keys. "If you bring her here, I'll go," Veronica threatened. "Then go," Alejandro replied. He found Paloma later, not with the air of someone who had caused trouble, but with the bearing of someone trying to survive it. She was serving lunch plates at a street stand near the Centro, moving fast, focused, determined not to let her hands shake. When he said her name, she flinched, then composed herself. "Señor Alejandro," she said, bracing. I'm here to apologize he said. Paloma waited. Camilla told me the truth, he continued. Veronica planted the bracelet. She set you up. Paloma swallowed. She had known. She had felt the wrongness all over her skin. But being believed was something else. Gracias, she said softly. I didn't protect you, Alejandro said. I didn't investigate sooner. You were inside a storm, Paloma said. You don't always see rain while you're drowning in it. I want you to come back, he said. I don't know if I should, Paloma replied honestly. Veronica hates me. She might be leaving, he said. We fought. She said if I brought you back, she would go. I chose to do the right thing for Camilla. How is Camilla? Paloma asked, wiping her hands on her apron, looking suddenly fragile. Destroying herself with sadness, he said. She told me the truth even though she was scared. She defended you. Paloma closed her eyes for a second. I'll come, she said. But if Veronica mistreats me again, I leave for good. That won't happen, he said. They returned to a house that sounded different in their heads. From upstairs, Camilla's voice floated down. Papi, come here, Alejandro called. I have a surprise. Camilla looked down over the railing, then came running, then stopped as if she couldn't trust what she saw. Paloma? Paloma knelt and opened her arms. Camilla launched herself into them. You came back, she breathed. For always, Paloma promised. You promise? I promise. Where is Veronica? Alejandro asked. In her room, with suitcases, Camilla said simply. Veronica was packing when Alejandro stepped in. She had expected tears, regrets, apologies. She hadn't expected this new steal. You're leaving? He asked. I have no choice, do I? She said, throwing clothes into a bag. You made it clear you prefer them. I prefer the truth, he said. And what you did with the bracelet was an error, Veronica interrupted. I was trying to protect our family. From what? He asked, voice low. From a woman who makes my daughter happy? She was making Camilla rebel. She made you question my care. She was taking you from me. Camilla was never yours to lose, he said. You never tried to earn her love. You tried to control her. I tried, Veronica protested. I can change. How do you propose to change the fact that you used my daughter to frame an innocent woman? He asked. How do I trust you after that? Because I love you, she said, finally raw. Love doesn't do what you did, he replied. She zipped a suitcase with finality. Fine, she said. I'll go. But this isn't over. She came downstairs dragging luggage and found Camilla and Paloma on the floor with blocks. Come say goodbye, Veronica ordered. Camilla looked at her and did not move. No. Why not? Because you are bad, Camilla said. I am not bad, Veronica said, almost convincing herself. I tried to educate you. You lied about Paloma, Camilla said. Steady now. Go. Don't come back. The firmness in the little girl's voice startled everyone, even Alejandro. It was the sound of a child who had finally been believed. Veronica left, but people like her rarely step out of a story without trying to set it on fire behind them. The next week got brighter. The house felt warmer. Camilla laughed and sang and did homework on the kitchen table, while Paloma sliced fruit and Alejandro learned how to show up. They talked, like families do, about small things. Camilla asked the questions children ask when their world has stopped shaking long enough to make plans. Will she come back? Carmen, she asked one night, over rice and beans. I don't know, Alejandro said, looking at Paloma and feeling the same fear. But if she does, she will have to promise to be kind to you. And if she lies again, she will not stay. Promise? Camilla asked. I promise, Alejandro said. And there are promises that carry weight and those that are air. This one landed firmly on the table between them. Later he asked Paloma in a quiet kitchen, why do you care so much for her? She reminds me of my brother, Paloma said. Joaquin. He had Down syndrome. He died when I was 15. How? Alejandro asked. Pneumonia, Paloma replied. Then after a second, but really lack of love. My parents were ashamed. They hid him. They didn't take him anywhere. They didn't stimulate him. And when he got sick, they didn't fight for him. like they would have for another child. She steadied herself. I promised myself I would never watch a child like him be forgotten again. Alejandro sat with the weight of that. Thank you, he said, and meant it with his whole chest. The phone rang at work on a Friday afternoon. Señor Montemayor, the voice on the other end said, clipped, official. Licenciada Leticia Aguirre, DIF. A cold hand squeezed his spine. Yes? We received a report alleging negligence of a minor, she said. Camila Montemayor, 7 years old, diagnosis of Down syndrome. The allegation claims she is being cared for by an unqualified domestic employee while the father works. That is false, Alejandro said. I work part-time, and the employee knows Camila. We will need to conduct a home visit, the licenciada said. Today, the report alleges imminent risk. Alejandro hung up and drove home with his heart in his trachea. Veronica reported us, he told Paloma, picturing the stamp of the state on a piece of paper that could rip his life in two. What do we do? Paloma asked. Make everything perfect, Alejandro said. House clean, records ready, Camilla safe. And me? Paloma asked. I'm just a maid. No official training. They could use that against you. He realized how much he had been taking for granted. We'll explain you have experience, that Camilla loves you. If they want to be strict, Paloma said softly, they will say children with special needs require qualified caregivers. Then what do you suggest? Hire someone with credentials, Paloma said calmly, at least on paper, for the visits. I'll still be here, but officially, Monica, your social worker friend, can act like she's helping. You think Camilla will accept a stranger? She will if we explain it's to keep her safe. That afternoon, Aguirre arrived with a social worker, Monica, who had agreed to present as Tia Monica for the evaluation. They asked questions, walked through rooms, checked the fridge, peeked into drawers, glanced at the medicine cabinet. They asked Camilla who cared for her. Tia Monica, Camilla said, glancing at Alejandro for confirmation. Here I am, Monica added, playing along without lying outright. She was there now at least. Half an hour. 40 minutes. 1,000 lifetimes. Camilla looked confused but safe. Aguirre made notes. The report alleged the maid cared for the child without qualification. That's not the case, she said, neutral. The environment appears stable. We will monitor for a few weeks. Alejandro exhaled. They had moved a mountain, but they could hear rumblings underneath it. He did what men do when their family is threatened. He hired a lawyer. Abogado Fernando Villaseñor, the man introduced himself. Family law. He read the report. He wrote down details. He said the thing that kept Alejandro up that night. Camila is well cared for, the lawyer said, but the issue is legal, not emotional. The state can require proof of qualifications, or in a worst case, reassign custody, to an institution even, or, he didn't have to say it, to a stepmother convincing enough. What can I do? Girani, Alejandro asked, and he would have promised anything, sold anything, walked through any fire. You can hire a certified nanny, the lawyer said, enroll Camila in a full-day program, or marry Paloma. Alejandro stared. What? If Paloma is your wife, she is legally recognized as a caregiver. A stepmother has rights. The court trusts a spouse more than an employee. That's obvious, Alejandro said, and then quieter. It's also true. Do you love her? The lawyer asked. If you do, this is both convenient and honest. Alejandro drove home with a mind that felt clearer than fear should allow. He found Paloma helping Camila with homework. How was work, Papi? Camila asked. Busy, Princessa, he said, kissing her head. Keep studying. He drew Paloma into the kitchen. We have options, he said, then told her about the lawyer's suggestions. He braced for offense, for nonsense about sacrifices and obligations. He did not expect what came out of her mouth. Alejandro, can I be honest? She asked. Always, he said. I love you, Paloma whispered. I have for a while. He blinked. Really? I thought maybe it was gratitude, but it isn't. It's love. I didn't say it because you were married and then because it felt impossible. He let out a sound that could have been a laugh or a prayer. I fell in love with you too, he said. Watching you love Camilla, how you play on the floor like time doesn't exist when she needs it to stop. How you made this house a home. They didn't need candles or an audience. They didn't even need a ring right then. They needed to do what would keep their family whole. The next morning, quietly, they went to the civil registry with 2 witnesses and said words that made law catch up to what hearts already knew. When they came home, Camilla ran to them. "Where did you go?" she asked. "We did something important," Alejandro said, crouching. "Paloma is my wife." "What is wife?" Camilla asked. "When 2 people love each other and decide to be family," he said. "Paloma is family." "She always was," Camilla said, thinking. "But now official." "Yes," Alejandro said, "now official." Camila turned to Paloma, eyes shining. "Can I call you Mommy?" "If you want," Paloma said, throat tight. "I want," Camila said, and the word Mommy in her mouth felt like a wish fulfilled. Leak. Aguirre returned for a follow-up. "I hear there have been changes," she said, eyebrows raised. "We married," Alejandro said. "Today." "How convenient," she said, but there was no derision in her tone, only assessment. "It is," he admitted, "but it's also true. I love her. We wanted this. The timing is legal, yes. The decision is from the heart." "And you, Paloma?" Aguirre asked. "Also convenient?" "I loved Alejandro before the reports," Paloma said. "If it were only convenience, I would have found another job." "May I speak with Camila?" Aguirre asked. She went upstairs. "How are you, Camila?" she asked. "Happy," Camila said. "Why?" "Because now I have a complete family," she said. "Papi, Mami, me, like other families." "And you like your mommy, Paloma?" "I like very much. She plays with me. She teaches me. She doesn't yell." "Did someone yell before?" Aguirre asked gently. "Veronica yelled," Camilla said. "Now no. Now only love." Aguirre wrote something in her notebook and smiled. "I see no cause to intervene," she told Alejandro later. "We will recommend closure." For a while it was peace. The teacher at school told Paloma, "She's more participative. She raises her hand. She talks to friends. She draws you 3 together all the time." At home, Camilla drew nonstop 3 figures holding hands, all smiling, with the words, "My family loves me," in shaky letters underneath. Then one afternoon, Fear arrived at the door wearing a fitted suit, Veronica with a lawyer at her side. "I've come for what is mine," she said. "You have nothing here," Alejandro replied. "I have rights to Camilla," she said. "I was her stepmother for 2 years. The law recognizes that." Her lawyer, Laconis Arturo Barragan, stepped forward. "We seek visitation," he said. "Quincenal, supervised. If you oppose, we will question the timing of your marriage. We will say you married to block my client's rights." Alejandro didn't let anyone see the flicker of panic. He called Fernando. "Can they get that?" he asked when his lawyer arrived. "Technically, yes," Fernando said. "If they can demonstrate a family relationship." He glanced at Veronica. "But if we establish harm during that time, the court will deny." "What evidence?" Barragan asked. "Witnesses, recordings, confessions," Fernando said. "We have none of that," Barragan replied with confidence. "Maybe we will tonight," Paloma said suddenly. "Give me 5 minutes alone with Veronica." "Not advisable," Fernando cautioned. "Maybe we can resolve this without court," Paloma said calmly. Veronica agreed. The lawyer stepped out. Alejandro stayed in the kitchen, but set his phone on the counter recording. "What do you really want?" Paloma asked Veronica in the living room. "My rights," Veronica said. "What rights?" Paloma said. "You hated Camilla." "I did not," Veronica snapped. "You said she should have died with her mother," Paloma replied, voice steady. "You pinched her. You left her hungry. You screamed. I lost my patience sometimes, Veronica said. Sometimes was always, Paloma said. You abused an innocent child. I tried to love her, Veronica said. Love is not something you try on like a dress. It either fits because it exists or it doesn't, Paloma replied. I couldn't, Veronica admitted finally, the crack showing. Every time I looked at her, I felt rage. At a 7-year-old? Paloma asked. At the situation, Veronica said. At the fact that Alejandro never loved me like he loved Isabella. And you took it out on Camilla, Paloma said. Maybe, Veronica whispered. Yes. How? Paloma asked quietly. By being hard, Veronica said. Impatient. What else? Paloma pressed. I told her she was a burden, Veronica said, her eyes dry. I told her because of her Alejandro would never love me completely, that she ruined my chance at being a mother. In the kitchen, Alejandro closed his eyes. The phone recorded every word. The lawyers came back. Did you reach an agreement? Barragan asked. Yes, Paloma said. Veronica will relinquish any claim to Camilla. What? Barragan sputtered. On what basis? Alejandro held up his phone. On the basis of her confession, he said calmly. She just admitted to emotional and physical mistreatment of my daughter. It is all recorded. Barragan turned to Veronica, horrified. Is that true? Veronica understood then. She had been outmaneuvered. It was a private conversation, she said weakly. Still admissible, Fernando said. 2 options, Alejandro said. Sign a document relinquishing rights, or I take this to court and you explain to a judge why you told a child she ruined your life. Veronica's lawyer leaned in and whispered. She signed. This isn't over, she said to Alejandro, but even in her mouth the line sounded tired. It is, he said, and it ends right here. When Camila came home from school, Alejandro hugged her, and with the simplicity that makes children exhale, said she won't come back. For always, Camila asked. For always, he said. Good, she breathed. Now I can be happy without fear. In the months that followed, happiness became a routine. Camilla's pediatrician, Dr. Eduardo, shook his head in pleasant surprise. Her development is exceptional, he said. Communication, motor skills, social interaction, all improved. The cause? Stable environment, unconditional love, appropriate stimulation. At home, mornings began with small rituals. Buenos dias, Papi, Camila said at their door. Buenos dias, Mommy, she said to Paloma, the words still new enough to taste. Can I make breakfast with you? Of course, Paloma said. Camila placed bread on plates, counted strawberries, humming under her breath. Can I ask something? Camila asked one morning. Always, Paloma said. Will you have a baby? Camila asked, very serious. Why do you ask? Paloma replied. Other moms at school have babies, Camila said. Do you want a baby? Do you want a sibling? Alejandro asked, smiling. I want, Camila said. But only if you want. And if we have a baby, I will help. I will teach everything Mommy taught me. Alejandro and Paloma looked at each other, beyond words. At school, during family day, Camila introduced her parents to everyone with pride, fierce and clear. This is my papi Alejandro, she said. This is my mommy, Paloma. A boy asked, how come your mom doesn't look like you? Because she chose me, Camila said promptly. She didn't have to be my mom. She wanted to. The teacher bit her lip because sometimes truth is too beautiful to stand up straight. On the way home, Camila leaned forward from the back seat. Papi? Mommy, can I tell a secret? What is it? Paloma asked. I am the happiest girl in the school, Camila said, because I have the best family, even if we're not rich. We are rich, Alejandro said. In money? Camila asked. In love? Alejandro replied. One night under the terrace lights after Camila fell asleep, Alejandro turned to Paloma. Do you ever feel like you're betraying Isabella? He asked softly. Sometimes I do. Not by loving you, by how long it took me to give Camilla what she needed. You did your best, Paloma said. I let them hurt her, he said, for too long. You know now, Paloma said, taking his hand. And we are doing different now. Together. They kept doing different. They went to parent-teacher conferences together. They taught Camilla to ride a bike on the grass. They burned cookies and laughed. They drew a chore chart that included stickers and a lot of grace. When Camilla had a meltdown out of nowhere one afternoon, Paloma sat on the kitchen floor with her, breathing in and out, saying, "We can be mad and safe at the same time." Alejandro learned to sit too, to say nothing, to be present. Camilla asked one hard question in the 4th month of the new life. "Will Mommy leave like Veronica?" She asked out of nowhere, tears big and slow. "Why would she leave?" Alejandro asked gently. "Veronica left," Camilla said. "I am scared." "Look at me," Paloma said, kneeling so their eyes were level. "I chose you. Veronica had to take care of you because she married your dad. I wanted to take care of you because I fell in love. I chose you on the very first day I met you. I will keep choosing you." Camilla put a hand on her chest. "I feel it here," she said. "That's how you know," Alejandro said. "It might have ended there, neat and tidy, but life rarely ties itself with a bow. It keeps testing the knots you've made." A few weeks later, a letter arrived, formal, templated, heavy. Veronica's lawyer had filed a petition anyway, and then withdrawn it. It was a last grasp. It didn't work. Fernando wrote back with the signed relinquishment. The court stamped the file closed. That was the last time paper had a say in their family. The rest belonged to days. Sunday afternoons with board games. Mornings when Camilla crawled into their bed whispering, "I had a bad dream." And Paloma whispered back, "You're safe." Phone calls to the pediatrician about a cough, the dishwasher breaking, and Alejandro trying to fix it with YouTube videos. The quiet pride on Camilla's face when she read a whole page out loud. The fist pump Alejandro made when she tied both shoes by herself. The way Paloma cried a little in the pantry, because joy can be overwhelming, and sometimes you need to step away to experience it fully. "Do you regret any of it?" Alejandro asked one evening, watching Camilla draw yet another picture of 3 people holding hands. "What?" "How do we?" Paloma smiled. "Taking this job, walking into a house full of pain, marrying me in a courthouse with fluorescent lights instead of a church full of flowers?" Paloma leaned into him. "No," she said. "If I hadn't walked through it, I wouldn't have this. You, her. I'd choose it all again." "So would I," Alejandro said. He kissed her, and it wasn't a fairy tale ending. It was a beginning that kept beginning every morning. One day at drop-off, a little girl asked Camilla, "Why do you always draw the 3 of you? Don't you miss your old mom?" Camilla thought for a second. "My first mom is in heaven," she said carefully, as if she were carrying glass. "She loved me. Veronica pretended to love me. Mommy Paloma loves me for real, and I love them all, but I live with the one who chose me." There are simple sentences that shift the world an inch. That one did. If you've read this far, you already know what matters in this story. It wasn't the bracelet. It wasn't any paper stamped official. It wasn't a polished voice on a phone insisting that everything was fine. It was the moment a child's truth was believed over a cruel adult's performance. It was a father who set down his pride and picked up his daughter. It was a woman who showed up with breakfast and patience and stayed while the storm thrashed. It was love, not as a grand gesture, but as 1,000 small ones, cutting sandwiches, learning to breathe through tears, teaching how shoelaces become bows, listening when a little voice says, "I'm scared," and answering, "I'm here." And if you stood once in a hallway outside a closed door and wondered which voice to believe, the sobbing child or the smiling adult, you know the answer now. Believe the bruise. Believe the eyes. Believe the little hands reaching. Believe the small truths that never raise their voices. That's what saved Camilla. That and cinnamon toast. That and a paper full of wobbly letters that said, "My family loves me." That and a house where the loudest sound a door makes is laughter echoing down the stairs. So if a 7-year-old pointed to a bruise and whispered, "She hurts me," what would you do? You'd do what Paloma did. You'd do what Alejandro finally did. You'd listen. You'd stay. You'd choose the child over the performance. And if it's you who needs to hear this today, you are allowed to choose love over appearances. You are allowed to believe the quiet truth over the polished lie. You are allowed to build your family with the people who keep showing up, regardless of titles. Camilla did. She chose right, and the world got a little bit kinder because of it.